All right, so welcome to episode 2 of Impact Show. I'm really excited to have Sean MacNeill, CEO of Reviver, on our show. This has been something I've been looking forward to since the last show we shot with our first inaugural guest, Marty O'Connor, who's now producing the show with me. I'm so excited. And, you know, Sean was introduced to me by a friend, Matt Hayden. I live in San Clemente. Matt's a local investor in Orange County, and he has this great event called Best Ideas in the World, and it's this dinner where people come together, about 100 investors, and it was at Jeff Curl's Stance headquarters where Sean was introduced to me. And having represented virtually every industry over the past 25 years, when I heard digital license plate, I just perked up and I was instantly just fired up to meet you and learn more about what you were doing. Then when you gave your presentation, in 5 minutes, I just rose my hand and said, look, this is going to be the next billion-dollar company. This isn't just a disruption, this is a new platform. Every single day, we are driving in our cars and we're looking at license plates. So what a great way to advertise something that needs disruption. And as a platform, there's so many great things that can come from digitizing the license plate or smart, if you would call it. This is like one of my favorite innovations, right? It's Bose sunglasses. I mean, not only do I feel like I look cool in these things, but I can listen to music while I'm standing in line with my kids at Disneyland and everyone's miserable and I'm sitting there just like loving what I'm listening to. And so that sort of innovation, I think, will disrupt. But yours is at a much different level, and I'm so excited to have you here, Sean. So maybe you can start by telling me a little bit about your background and what brought you to Orange County today, and just some of the things that you got going on.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you having me, and it's been great getting to know you. And you have many people who know you well, and so I appreciate all the opportunities to work together as well. So background, I've been doing technology, software, mobility my whole career. Multiple different companies, a lot of different startups, companies that need help scaling revenue and commercializing all the operational things. And the current company, actually my wife thought it was a little crazy because I was going to go take over running a much larger SaaS company in the software space. And the chairman of our board here, Reviver, he said, hey, come on over, take a look at this. And I'd met the founder, great guy, and really cool technology. And so they convinced me to come over, and it was a pre-revenue company, and my wife thought, okay, large SaaS company, pre-revenue company, I don't understand, why would you do a pre-revenue startup, Sean? And I said, well, I think if I didn't take it, I'd regret it. And so, she said, okay, well, if you really feel that strongly, then that's great. And So I joined the company, and it's actually my third company now with this particular board member and chairman, and he's been a good mentor to me in my career. His name's Ken Denman, and he really got me hooked in the business. And then the founder really closed me. Coming in, it was an opportunity to do something brand new. Nobody's ever done it before. Massive opportunity, and being the first in the space.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I like the fact that you listen to your wife. I mean, as a married man myself, okay, this one's to you, Kai. Listening to that other voice really helps with the decision, and it's a voice of reason sometimes. And a lot of times I'm making a decision and I'm so emotionally caught up into something that I don't know which way is north, and that voice of reason is so important. So you met the chairman, you met the founder, and I got to bring this out. Hold on. So this is my special guest, which is my first license plate. I'm very proud of this one because it says, if you can't figure it out, let's gamble. This was on my first car, Hyundai Excel, that my father put the down payment on. I was very proud of that car because I had a permit at the time. And this was my first license plate, and it's carried on to every single car that I've driven. And as I became a little bit successful in what I did, my cars got a little bit better. So this license plate has cruised all the way up to the big leagues now. But when I look at this license plate, I think this really hasn't changed for forever, right? So what you got? You got something better than this?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. A little bit on the founding of the company, because I think it's a really interesting story to talk about that, because it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed in over 100 years.
100 years?
100 years. License plate's been metal, registration, and licensing. And actually every country and every government in the world requires licensing registration. And they control that as part of each country's laws, and depending if it's federal or state, it's still controlled by the government. So it's a regulated marketplace. And so the founder, we're all here in California. We're based up in the Bay Area, and the founder, like all of us, we get our registration in the mail. So you open the mail from DMV, and it says in the next couple of months you got to renew your registration for $500 or whatever it is dollars, and it's not due for a couple of months. Most people don't renew right away.
Right.
So
I mean, they give you kind of like 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, they give you a long time.
I usually like put it away. And
exactly.
I don't want to pay it till the very end.
Exactly. That's most people. Right?
Okay.
And so, in fact, Neville, who's the founder company, this is his experience. Threw it in the shelf of his drawer of his desk and forgot about it. Busy work, travel, like kids,
my
family,
registration. I'll get to
absolutely. I forgot about it. Now he's driving around with expired tags. So gets a ticket, and then he had some issues when he got to getting to the DMV because there's some issue with registration, and just the whole experience back and forth just to get something simple sorted out. That it's his mistake, but it was just seemed like a 19th century experience in the 21st century, and he thought to himself, "Wow, there must be a better way of doing this." And then some friends and some colleagues, he kind of collaborated in this whole concept of why don't we digitize everything, including the license number.
So it's not just the plate, but the registration and the back end with the DMV.
And have an app on your phone, your smart device, where you can get convenient reminders. We won't forget about the tags being expired. And it'll remind you, and then be able to interact with the plate. Because a lot of people like yourself like to personalize and customize. If you think about it, you pay $50, $80, $100 a year for custom plates. But you have one static plate.
Exactly.
And it's just a static.
It's a static plate.
It's a static metal piece.
You know the thing that really pisses me off are like these things, right? Because I have the screws and I usually have a license plate frame. And to try and get that little corner right that it has a little metal piece, it just drives me crazy. And my brother-in-law found a razor blade and he cut it. And I said, well, then people can just tear it off. And you could literally take the year off, right? You could take that sticker off and put it on another, like your car, right? So it's so analog. It's so analog. And then you guys come up with, I gotta just say, the smart plate. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on here?
So this is one of our digital license plates, and so the license plate is just an artifact of history, and really it's just a number, and the government owns that and regulates it. But it's what can you do with it? And so this is the whole vision of the founder is we're compliance. We have to be compliance and regulated as part of our what we do and operate with DMVs. And so we can't touch the number itself. The license plate number is owned by the government control there. However, and also the tags, the year, month. However, being able to personalize it, customize it, interact with it, being able to, our other product has GPS and location-based services and has helpful things like finding your car. It'll even let you know if somebody bumps into you and hits you, it'll give you an alert.
So if someone hits my car, it'll
send
me a signal.
It'll send you up. So everything's tied into an app. So you have the plate.
That's a text I definitely don't want to get. That would just put me in a pretty bad mood. And it'll pop up and give you apps and notifications. So if somebody, I'm at the airport in San Francisco right now, if somebody sideswipes or hits my car, it'll give me a pop up and let me know that somebody hit me. Or so if somebody tries stealing it, I can report it stolen from the app as well. Tell me a little bit about the technology behind that. Is that motion sensors, or how is it registering that data?
Yeah, so all the license plates are digital displays. They're something called, not to get too technical, bistable technology, where there's no power, the image still stays. So the image will always be there. And it's only when it applies power to it that you can actually update it and change it. So we can control that, and if you have no battery, no power, and the image will always stay there. Even if it gets hit, you'll still be able to read the license plate.
You call that bistable?
Bistable display.
It kind of sounds like me, I'm kind of a bistable guy. Sometimes I'm hot, sometimes I'm cold.
Well, that's the technology.
I'd rather be called bistable than bipolar.
That's the technology of the display, and then it has the same technology as your cell phone. It connects to your cellular network, either AT&T and Verizon.
So if someone cuts me off on the freeway, am I able to say, screw you?
So we have back off.
Back off.
Yeah. So,
is that? Who comes up with that?
Yeah. So it is.
Is there a reviver guy that just comes up with the politically correct way of saying, you know what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. So we
back off.
We get a lot of requests. So because we can personalize the sayings under the plate with a wide variety of different things. Like we have the top 100 hashtags on Instagram, for example, and different things like that. Cool. And my son just had his birthday mid-October, so I had happy birthday on it.
Oh, nice.
And we had Halloween. I had happy Halloween. And of course, we just had Thanksgiving, and I have happy Thanksgiving on. So you can update, interact.
And where does it display that, Sean?
It's on the bottom of the plate.
On the bottom
of the plate, you can fully interact with the bottom of it and update and personalize the bottom with messages and sayings. And then This is an example of a firefighter plate. It's a custom plate, but over in this corner here, we're going to be able to do emojis and logos in the Q1. So by March time frame, we're working with the California DMV to approve full custom logos, your favorite sports team, emoji, your favorite cause. So I'm a big supporter of breast cancer awareness and things like that. It was affected my family. So you want to put the ribbon on there, so show your support, things like that.
So like going from state to state, I would think there's a number of custom plates or designs that you can have, right? Every state's different. Can you take me through that a little bit?
So
how many does California have? How many does Rhode Island? Like, who has the most? Who has the least? Do you know?
I have an idea.
Okay.
I don't know all of them. I'm not that much of an expert on every state on the number of plates. It varies. So every state, it's maybe between 1% and up to 16% of the state's plates are custom.
Oh,
so it's a
huge,
It's a huge variety of them, right? So I think Illinois is like 14%, for example. They're the most recent state with approval in. Now that's custom plates. Now the variety is also something that's also there. So we're currently selling in California and Arizona, there's about 2.5 million custom plates, personalized plates, custom plates, and things like that between the two states. And it's something where, in California they have 22 special interest plates, plus you can personalize like you did your own plate and things like that as well. In Arizona they have 95.
95?
Yeah. So
how many cactus plants do you have?
There's a lot. They actually have some very cool ones. They have one of an Air Force jet fighter.
Okay, that's cool.
It's very cool.
I like that. Do they have a base out there?
I don't know where all the different. What happens is you get a lot of military, you get a lot of police, fire, you get a lot of charities that want their own custom plates.
And
there's a whole process you have to go through with each state's DMV. In fact, I think Georgia has 400 custom
400 plates in Georgia.
Yeah, and so this is where, again, is we get a lot of people who are, the people who love our product and tell us this are people who already, they love custom plates. They want to personalize it. They're tired of paying $50 to $100 a year for a static plate. And they love to be able to personalize and customize it. They want every hour.
So you're telling me that if I have a Reviver plate and then I want to get personalized Let's Gamble, I just go, through you, I get that personalization, and then it comes on the plate. It's updated.
So as soon as you purchase it from us, you give us your registration. You don't have to go to the DMV. We look after everything. Get a copy of your registration, and then we automatically, when you ship the plate, have it installed. It'll show up with Let's Gamble on it.
Okay.
And then you can personalize it and interact with it on the various areas that we're legally allowed to do that right now.
So talk me through the process of getting approval, and obviously in my state of California, this is approved.
It is
green light.
Yes.
So I'm going to start seeing, and I've seen 5.
Yeah, there's a couple thousand on the road now.
A couple thousand. Yeah, that's wonderful.
So we just got it going this year in the last 6 months.
Okay.
So, the other people who love to purchase our plate are car enthusiasts.
Okay.
These are people. Yeah, these are people.
It's kind of a status symbol.
It is. There's people they'll spend $4,000 or $5,000 on rims and tires.
Right.
Or tint their windows and stuff, and they look at putting this on the back of their car as a piece of jewelry. In fact, the powered one that you have is this one.
Okay.
It lights up at night.
Okay.
And it looks really cool.
Right.
So people love the look of it. They love being able to interact with it.
Okay.
And then we also have tech mavens. That's the other group. So people who are technologists, they love. You have an app.
Right.
You can interact with it, update it. You get all the reminders. You can automatically renew on your phone. You don't have to go into DMV.
Got it.
Everybody has a little bit of a different interest in what really interests them, what they want.
Right.
And so those are the 3 core groups of users for our products.
And how stoked is the DMV? I mean, I gotta say, sometimes going to the DMV, it's stressful, right? I mean, you've got long lines, there's backups. I mean, it's just one of these processes that I'm not excited to do. It's gotten a little bit better. You can go online, you can reserve, and then you got the exact time, that window, you go in, and that works. But now I don't have to go to the DMV to register or to renew my license or get personalized license plate. I don't even have to mail it in. This is all being done directly through you. Is that a one-time hit, or is it a subscription? How does that work?
You have a choice.
Okay.
You have a choice. You can purchase up front, or you can do a monthly subscription as well.
Okay.
So we give the user. It's very similar to buying a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And with a lot of the companies we've been talking to in just this last 10 years, I mean, it's a subscription economy.
It is.
I mean, we subscribe at home to so many little things, whether it's Amazon Prime, and it seems like this millennial Gen Z generation is really into the subscription economy. I mean, there's a new company that's coming out called Canoe. I'd introduce you to some people involved with this where it's an electric car that you subscribe to. I mean, I'm hearing hints about this company. They went from like 20 employees to hundreds, and it's fantastic what they're doing, and it's a car you subscribe to. It's not even like you buy it. So this makes a lot of sense. And if I was Canoo, or if I was Tesla, or if I was a new car company, I would want a Reviver license plate on every single car that comes out. How are you working with car manufacturers and like auto dealerships, and has that thought crossed your mind on putting the license plate on every car? Because to me, that would be a killer close, right? Like I'm sitting here battling with some car salesman or woman, and it's down to like a few bucks, and then they throw that in, or they say it comes with our Reviver plate. I would think that would be a huge conversion opportunity. Tell me a little bit about like the auto dealerships and how you guys are considering them as a partner.
Yeah, so we right now we're going direct to consumer. A lot of it's all digital marketing, learning a lot about who likes our product, is brand new, getting feedback to further enhance it. So the digital channel allows us to learn a tremendous amount about users just even in a couple of weeks.
Right.
We're also working with dealers.
Right.
And I think we'll see more traction through them next year. We have a few signed up that we do sell through. Auto manufacturers are going to come a little later on.
Okay.
So as right now we have 5 states we have approval in, and we're selling into. So we have California, Arizona, we're selling into actively. We have full support and approval legally in California, Arizona. We also have Michigan, Illinois, and Texas. And once we get legal approval in the state, we have to get DMV integrations done.
Sure.
We integrate directly to the DMV as part of it to create part of the simplified digital experience.
Right.
So once we get those completed, we'll start rolling out, and selling actively. In
Just curious, how many cars on the road in California, just roughly?
There's a little over 34 million registered vehicles.
34 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And to me, like what got my interest so much in this is having marketed products and services for decades. Just seeing so many varieties of products and solutions and subscriptions and disruptions. The one advantage I keep thinking about with Reviver is that everyone is looking at your product. Everyone is looking at a license plate every day. It's in our subconscious. And once you start seeing the smart solution of that, then you're going to be talking about it, you're going to be curious, and it becomes a conversation point. And of the variety of individuals, from investors to political leaders to business owners that I brought Reviver up, it is the most fascinating discussion because everyone has their own perspective and theory as to where the business is going. And I would say a majority, if not all of them, have said this is the next greatest thing. And the only product I can think of, not to build a negative connotation to this positive interview, is cigarettes. Cigarettes did very well because if you think about it, when you're smoking a cigarette, what markets you is not the cigarette, it's the smoke. The smoke then impacts 20 or 30 people around you, and now all of a sudden they're affected, maybe negatively, but that carbon footprint or whatever, it gets into the presence, okay? Similar to the license plate when you're driving on the freeway or the road. So the only thing I can really think of as a product that has ever happened is a cigarette, because that smoke is what markets cigarettes in a horrible way. I do not advocate smoking, but I do advocate what you guys are doing with the smart solution. Now, what are your thoughts of how the government interacts with the license plate and creating that delta of, I don't know, surveillance or those conspiracy theories out there of, oh, I'm being tracked. Like, what are your thoughts on that, and how do you address those sort of conspiracies?
There's a really top question. What about security? What about privacy?
Right.
And it's a top subject for us. So first of all, the data and the privacy issues, all the data is your data. When you sell it, we don't provide it to anybody.
Right.
So in fact, we fiercely guard your privacy and your data and information.
Right.
You have to have a warrant to release any information to the police, for example.
Sure.
I can tell you, because we've had multiple conversations at DMV, they don't want any of your information.
Right.
They don't want where you're located and things like that.
Right.
The location information is meant to create convenience and drive services for the users of the plate.
Right.
For their purposes.
Sure.
One of the things we're trialing right now and doing testing in the Bay Area is fast track for integrated tolling.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that makes total sense.
Yeah, but in the middle of next year, we're going to have integrated tolling. It doesn't cost anything extra. Every one of our users will automatically get it. They'll automatically get an account, and they'll have it fully integrated. You'll have separate stickers in the windows and things. Now, all we have to do, though, and again, it's a user-generated privacy policy where we fiercely guard your privacy, but if you're going to add new services, we have to provide some information.
Right.
We have to share your information. we're actually a validated source of third-party identity.
Okay,
because
cool.
we know who you are.
Right.
But once you give your permission, I want to add tolling, then we have to share that with the tolling
Sure.
authority.
Yeah.
But again, we were careful on those sort of
Right,
things.
right.
Security, this is more secure than mobile banking.
Yeah.
We
So it's
made it that way.
authenticated
It's
and-
fully tokenized.
Right.
It has random keys in it to interact between the app and phone. It's fully encrypted. We've done a ton on the security side of it as well. So, and if you can get it past California, you can get it past anywhere.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. What
yeah.
a huge, California in itself is like one of the largest economies in the world. And what a great success to you and your founders and everyone involved with getting that authorization. But I also feel the same way. I mean, look, if someone wanted to surveil you or follow you, it's already being done. I mean, smart devices, anything can potentially be a conspiracy, right? Like you're being followed. I think this is an absolutely wonderful transformation and something that will definitely help markets. It'll help economies. It'll help the government modernize. I think everybody wins in this sort of solution. And how, in your opinion, if and when there's 5 to 10 million cars on Reviver, how does it go from a product disrupting a market into a platform? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it is a platform. We built it initially as a platform, and it's about looking after the basics of if you want to have customization, if you want to be able to use key services, you want to avoid the DMV. Literally, you can do your renewal in like 20 seconds on the app.
Awesome.
You don't have to go to DMV. It's all digital. You can use your credit card right on our app. You don't have to do it just to communicate. The tags automatically update. Things like that are built for the convenience of the user. Plus the personalization.
Sure.
Our number one most requested feature is emojis.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, people want the smiley face. And
Okay.
It is.
Sweet.
It's really interesting to see.
Emoji marketplace.
It is, and it's a way people communicate and relate feelings and emotions and stuff like that as well. So, I think those are for the end user services, the consumer benefits. The government benefits are clear. This is a much lower cost way of doing business. It's easier. It's more convenient. People who want personal plates, this is a much better platform.
Absolutely.
It's more dynamic.
Sure.
For enterprise and businesses, you get into fleets, rental car companies, ride share.
Yeah.
We have all these issues with Uber and Lyft.
Right.
Imagine if I can just put your name on the bottom.
Oh, seriously.
I can put the Lyft
and
logo and I can say.
With Uber, it's like, I can have like a green light. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like it'd be perfect if my name was displayed.
Display the name and validate when you're using it. It's Uber or Lyft to verify.
Ah, yeah.
Right. Things like that. You look at safety, security. There's actually a lot of opportunities that way. Or if you live in the city and parking's a pain, is being able to say, well, I'm a resident, I want to get a subscription, show a tag for as a resident, you can park anywhere you want, or a business, and make it much easier. So in the future, we see connected vehicles, connected devices. It's about creating a network of a universal connected vehicle platform, regardless of make or model or type of manufacturer.
Right.
How do you connect all these vehicles together for the benefit of governments and for businesses and people?
So let's talk a little bit about like different regions, right? Like, so you got states, which are all kind of the same format. The other thing is you're not really putting other people out of business, because where are these license plates made? I mean,
well, in California, they're made by prisoners.
By prisoners.
Yeah.
So you're putting convicts out of business.
Potentially. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but each state usually contracts with a company that provides the software
and when you go to other countries, the shape of a license plate changes, right? I mean, I've traveled the world and I noticed some are like really long, some are short. Like, what determines that? And can Reviver service a global market, or are you guys just looking at domestic?
So right now we're focused on domestic.
Okay.
It's the US size plate. This plate is standard in a lot of areas in the world too, but there's also the European size plate, European sport, and then motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
So
those are like tiny.
They're tiny, and we actually have prototypes of these as well. And so as we grow in the future, we'll of course just support different forms. It's just a different size display.
Sure.
The technology is all the same.
Now talk about the display. What if some jerk just like grabbed a hammer and just like hit my Reviver plate? Would it still work, or is it toast?
Depends if you have an accident. Probably more likely that somebody rear ends you.
Rear ends me.
Right. So it depends how hard it is. They're very robust. They handle a lot.
Right.
But if you get really smashed, just like anything else, you're going to be having to repair some stuff on it.
Yeah. And how about the installation process? I mean, that looks like almost like a display device. How does that go on the back of my car?
So it hooks up to the this particular plate because it has a light guide in it, so it lights up at night. You can see it has GPS capabilities and other sensors in it. This connects to your power system in your car.
Okay.
So it requires a professional installation on this
Okay.
plate. So, and then we have this plate. This is our newest plate coming out in the next few months. This is a battery only, so it doesn't have GPS and it doesn't have some of the functionalities, but it's also self-install.
Okay.
So,
self-install.
Yeah, so you can
Oh,
install
sweet.
this. I have a prototype in my car. It took me 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm not any mechanical whiz, so
Okay.
when you
Wow.
install this,
Is it just like
it's
screws and you
it's
just
just screws.
like
And just
my regular license
unscrew
plate?
your other plate,
Right.
your little bracket,
Nice.
put it on, and that's
Wow,
it.
that's
So.
wonderful.
And this is
Yeah.
this is mainly used through an app. So you use Bluetooth on your phone to the device to interact with it,
Okay.
and it also connects to the internet over this other network too.
Very cool. Well, I mean, seeing all the disruption that's going on in transportation, in your opinion, is it going to be like electric car companies or the traditional car companies, or is it both that are really starting to work with Reviver? I mean, what are your thoughts? Or are the electric companies more disruptive and more of a target for you because they are already on the same wavelength as you? I mean, like, what are you guys thinking there?
Yeah, I think we get a lot of different requests. So I think in the future, fast forward 5 years from now, like by the end of next year, we'll have about half of the U.S. registered vehicles authorized to be
Wow.
approved, based on our current roadmap on legislation across states. Once you start getting a critical mass for the next 5 years, you're just going to start seeing vehicle manufacturers OEM it and build it into the vehicle designs.
Right.
Instead of making an ugly well, if you can elegantly design the display into their vehicles designs, we've already talked to several companies who love to do that.
Right.
We just have to get a critical mass of states and enough concentration for them to justify doing that. But I think that's definitely where the future is going when it comes to those things.
Give me the state of Reviver as a business. Like, what's important to you? What are you guys trying to do right now? Funded or like what's the growth trajectory for the business? And can you handle millions of orders? I mean, just curious.
Yeah, so that'd be a great problem to have actually.
Okay.
So we are a startup. We just started generating revenue last year. So we finished a pilot last year with California. Got a favorable report. That went well. In the meantime, we had several other states. We've also got approvals in and are working at various stages of integration. And so, as I said, we're actively selling in California and Arizona. A couple thousand plates on the road in California, a few hundred in Arizona, continuing to grow in the last 6 months as we've gone to market.
Nice.
We'll continue to expand that. We're also fundraising. So the stage now we're at, we have a proven model, understand the metrics, unit economics. So we're fundraising for growth capital.
Right.
So it allows us to really greatly expand for next year. So, and it's just not in the U.S. One of our really interesting projects has actually been in the Middle East.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, the city of Dubai actually reached out to us.
Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the government of it was one of the Emirates and the UAE, and they have one of the largest smart city initiatives in the world right now.
Right.
They want to, they want to truly be the world's first true smart city.
Oh, that's epic.
And one of the biggest issues they have is transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And so integrating to intelligent traffic control,
Right.
tolling, parking. The government's run most of the tolling and parking
Okay.
in Dubai. And so they came along and, a whole bunch of back and forth. And what we're doing and our future and vision of the company, what they want to do fit really, really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so we've gone through a series of trials, testing and validating the technology.
Okay.
And we just signed an MOU actually last month.
Oh, congratulations. That's
with
awesome.
the city of Dubai, where we're doing final trials and tests.
Right.
We're gonna do some really cool stuff like.
Is their license plate the same format as
It is.
ours?
So they have about 40% of the license plate are this size.
Okay.
They also have the European, the
Right.
European Sport.
Right.
And there's different sizes as well, but it works well since a
Sure.
good.
So are they trying to get the
portion of it.
whole city on Reviver?
They are. So they're
Whoa,
interested.
are you serious?
No, it's
okay,
interesting.
Dude, that's
So-
freaking cool.
So they want to, very similar to telephones.
Yeah.
So they skipped landlines and went right to cellular.
Okay.
So there's a propensity for certain areas.
So they
to
can just do that.
leapfrog.
They can just say, "Hey, no more landlines. We're going to cell phone
Yeah.
standard." Boom.
Yeah,
the
and
whole
so
city,
they want to.
I mean, what's the population?
Their
in Dubai?
vision. So there is a good question. I know there's 1.9 million vehicles in Dubai.
Okay.
So for vehicles,
Ah,
I couldn't tell you the population.
Dude, 1.9 million,
Yeah.
and you're raising money. Okay.
Yeah, so
I rarely just will endorse on the fly, but this is definitely a company to get involved in. I'm personally involved, and I'm introducing it to literally everyone I know. This will be broadcasted on the Internet Marketing Association to our worldwide membership. I'm going to make sure Elon Musk, all of our friends, everyone that's been associated with IMA over the years is aware of Reviver. You'll be with me in about 8 hours talking to 50 CEOs here in Orange County. Palmer Luckey, the founder of Anduril, who created Oculus, the company that has driven most of the virtual reality economy, will be meeting with you tonight. And these are the sort of innovations that just really move me and inspire me to share with the world and our greater economic community that is involved with the IMA. When I started the Impact Show and I interviewed Marty as our first guest, I was looking at people that are truly doing disruptive things for the world in a betterment sort of way, but are also having impact on their own communities and really kind of getting under the skin of the individual I'm interviewing. Learned a lot about you today, Sean, with your wife's input. I think that's a really smart wife that said go for Reviver, because now a lot of great things keep happening, and I love the good news, and it's very hard to find any wrinkles or any negativity with this business. I think it's something that is inspiring and is the exact reason why I started Impact Show. We have literally 100 potential guests that I'm looking at putting on the show, and it's really fun curating and putting it through the filter before they're sitting in front of me and doing this. And I'm really excited to grow and widen the show to the greater business and global community to follow and learn about the guests that we're having. As we wrap up, I'd love to know, we have a lot of young members in the IMA. These are solopreneurs. These are people that have an idea or a talent or a skill. Any advice you have for them as they are struggling through their challenges of trying to create a Reviver or to be in a position where they could raise funding? I mean, there's just so much talent out there, but I know a lot of them are facing challenges and roadblocks and they just can't get over that hump. Any advice you have as to how you've done that?
Yeah, I still take lots of advice myself too. So we're always learning, and I think one of the things that's valuable is to focus, have an eye on the vision in the future, but execute in a tangible way now, and
right.
demonstrate milestones and achievements, and not just to talk about it, but show people results. And if you can show traction, and you do what you say you're going to do, people will work with you. People will develop trust, and especially when you're doing something brand new. Mm-hmm. It's one of our biggest challenges. We're doing something totally new, nobody's ever done before.
Right.
We're doing hardware, software, and government technology.
Sure.
We're a very unusual company.
Right.
We're a brand new category, and so being able to demonstrate that it's real, we're still young, we're still growing, showing where the vision is, but tangibly demonstrating like the small stuff we're doing now and the incremental steps, and every couple of months new software and features for our users, and our users are very loyal and dedicated. They're initial adopters, and but then also in the future promise of being able to do things where you connect vehicles together and do automatic crash detection and alert authorities if there's an issue, or to at my office yesterday I had to leave 15 minutes early to get gas. If I just tap my app and say, my vehicle's here, I'm low, go fill it up, or wash my car. Just the convenience thing. If your vehicle had a voice, what would you want it to say to you? And to be able to do that in a more universal way, and to simply and easily integrate new services and that are around your vehicle. That our universe is vehicles.
Sure. So keep a focus on the goal. And don't get deterred. What happens when the lights get shut out on you and you got nowhere to go? How do you get through that part of failure? I mean, where you just are boxed in, and even though you're focused on your goal, you have no life raft, right? So now, just curious, your thoughts on that. How do you get through that?
Well, I think first of all, you have to always, especially if you're running a company, it can be very lonely, right? And you can only be accountable for yourself, and you can't really rely on anybody else. Even when it comes to fundraising, it's ultimately all your responsibility. So, and I think you just have to keep leaning forward and digging in. I think also too, and I advise some young entrepreneurs of this, is put a plan together. Put some timelines together that what you want to achieve, and then look back at that. Are you on track? Because one of the things you want to do is don't blindly pursue something, but as you're pursuing it as part of your plan, go look back. Am I where I want to be? And at some point you have to determine, is this worthwhile to continue to do or not? And am I on track? And if you are, keep plowing forward. And some of the best ideas are things that nobody thought would be successful. Exactly. But you can also, as a young entrepreneur, spend a ton of your time in a very valuable phase of your career pursuing something that may not have legs too. So you have to have that balance of reality, and And that's why I always say is, put a plan together, measure yourself. How am I doing every 6 months?
Right.
Am I on track or not?
Awesome.
Is this am I going to get to where I need to be on these things? And then pull people around you. The biggest thing you can do is bring a team together.
Absolutely.
The single best advice I have is get a really, really good team of people, because it's not about me, it's about our team.
Sure.
So
I totally agree. I think, in the businesses I've been involved in, it's always been the human resources, right? That team that executes upon the vision. And, just from the first time I met you, you've got a lot of positive energy. There's really not negative doom and gloom with anything associated with this product, the work that you're doing. And I think that's also something that radiates well, and it creates this positive feeling about getting involved with something. And I try to do the same thing, like if I'm feeling crappy, it's like I don't present that on stage, or I don't present that in any way, because I think that just really kind of depresses the opportunity. And that sort of thing is tough. I learned it in Toastmasters, which I thought was this beer drinking club my dad told me about. But it really got me to get good at public speaking and feeling comfortable. And for anyone who feels that sometimes they just don't communicate well, that's something I strongly recommend is go to Toastmasters, and it will help you with finding that fire inside you and radiating that positive energy, because that'll lead to capital, that'll lead to getting through errors and failures, that'll lead to coming up with new innovations for your platforms and products. So I'm really so honored to have you here, Sean, on our second show. It's so befitting, and what I'm also trying to do is change the location of every show. We have incredible relationships and access to cool facilities. And what's cool about this room is there's a Christmas tree. I mean, the holidays are coming up. So what do you get the person that has everything? A digital license plate, okay? So, and that just kind of happened to be today's background. So we're very thankful to have you. And I thought what would be really cool is I'm actually having the Reviver plate put on my car right now. So I thought what would be cool is to transition out of this room and actually go check out the car and just do a little fun interview there to wrap up. But thank you for coming out to Orange County. It's been an honor to meet you, and continued success with Reviver. And how do people find out and purchase this? Just curious.
Reviver.com.
And REVIV.
Yeah, correct.com.
What does Reviver mean?
It's about reviving, something new and making, something old making it new.
Okay, cool.
And so that's the whole idea, is we're trying to revive something that's been around forever and make it new and different and improving it. So it's kind of a fun name. It's actually spelled the same way front and back too.
Awesome. So, well, I mean, this is exactly it. It's creating impact. And one of the other things about our show is you got to break something on our show. You have to come out with something that no one else has actually done. So Joe Rogan, you got a guest here that I got first. So it's all good. I'm really stoked to have you here again, and thank you for being part of our second show. And we look forward to seeing you next month with our next interview. Thanks.
Thanks, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Sean,
yeah, nice to finally meet you.
Okay, so this is it.
Yeah, this is it.
On.
It's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo! Bam! That's pretty cool.
It's all set. Yes.
People will be looking at my car more because of that.
And it's being more and more attractive. Everybody's seeing it.
Very cool. Before and after. I mean, that's so cool. That's way more modern. I love it. Yes.
So it's all done set up for you. So
Yeah. So, I mean, you just basically connected this to the electrical in the enclosure, and then at night it lights up. And very cool.
Just a good job. Thank you.
You guys are definitely going to get busy. So.